In a world of shiny helmets, spandex jumpsuits, and strange monsters, these heroes force feed you a bowl of awesome that is the Tokudon Podcast. Join Carl and Rob as they haphazardly welcome you to the exciting genre of Tokusatsu. Now, open wide.
Hello, friends. How are we doing?
Hi, guys. What's going on?
Welcome.
How you been?
Living the dream, you know. I'm here. I'm here to talk about a show. That's for sure.
Oh,
yeah,
an experience.
Yeah, an experience. But I'm going to stall a little bit by saying that I've played this new game called Wild Hearts, and if y'all want some crazy dumb Toku bullshit, I guess that counts because it's a Monster Hunter clone and you use big dumb anime weapons. So I'm gonna call it Toku because it's special effects and it's totally not just hunting.
Technically Toku. Everything is technically Toku. It's fine.
Everything is technically Toku, guys. It's fine.
The way
I took a big dumb hammer and then its handle grows, so I smash them harder and harder every time the handle grows. It's pretty cool. Or I just Mary pop into their ass. So.
And it swings and it becomes a spin to win type of.
Yeah, you literally do like a fucking spin to win vertically as you pull hop off of it while you're swinging the end of it and using the momentum to go faster. It's great. It's fucking cool.
That triple bash. I mean, it's very reminiscent of like the old school games where you would have to like hit an enemy 3 times, you know, to like hit them.
Actually, it's pretty cool because the whole gimmick to this one is like you have to hit and then it'll flash, and that's when you have to hit a different button for it to extend. So all of your combos depend on when you hit that button, kind of thing. So you have to like hit, extend, hit, extend, hit, extend. And then when you're in the air, like there's a little bit different timing to it. So like once you get, it's very basic in the grand scheme of things, honestly. But like once you get that timing, it's really satisfying because it's literally like
simple mechanics like
swing,
that. Yeah,
swing, and then you hit a different button. You go into a fucking pizza cutter and just like all the way down. So
it's fucking crazy.
Pretty cool.
This. And it's like it's an evolution of the people are like, okay, we have the Soulsborne games where it's chop chop chop, back away, roll, heal, chop chop chop. You know, this is like, well, what if anime? You know, like,
what if anime? But also the monsters were so big, the camera is fucking ridiculous. So I have issues with the camera sometimes, but. It's a great alternative to Monster Hunter. If anyone's in a Monster Hunter, check out Wild Hearts. There's some. I don't know how console's going, but I know there's some issues on PC. I personally haven't had anything that's like any worse than like the most recent Pokemon game where it just kind of like stutters or something like that. You see some texture popping. My game hasn't crashed on me yet, so that's cool.
Sitting right here.
Yeah, that game crashed me 3 fucking times, and I was like, I'm done with Pokemon. That's for true. So I'll wait till they patch it a few times.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's to add on to the lackluster roster because it was like.
Because you have to do raids now to get all that stuff.
And the goofy looking fire one was like the best thing, and it was just because it was goofy looking.
Fuecoco?
Yeah, now most of them are goofy looking.
I went with Spirigato. I went with my leaf cat because
Sprigatito.
Whatever. Yeah.
Sprigatito.
I don't know.
The starters are like the best thing, but other than that,
they're the worst thing in my opinion. They never stay on my team. So
yeah.
They never ever stay on my team.
Feel kind of like I used to feel like I'd be traded. When I used to take it.
I would get into the 3rd level, and like as soon as I found something cooler, I was like, "Nah, I'm good." There you go. Back in the box, you clown.
until Gardevoir, because once Gardevoir, I was like, "Oh, there's my new favorite Pokemon of all time." Thanks.
That's fair.
Appreciate you.
The only ones that ever really stuck around were like Cyndaquil for Alligator. Some of the earlier ones that like stuck around for a while, like Blastoise, I'm pretty sure made it to my first run when I played Blue back in the day. Because I had Blue because I was a rebel without a cause. I don't want this fucking basic bitch dragon out here that isn't even a dragon type.
All right, man.
You know what? Digimon's better. That's all that matters. So
you have that. You do have your Digimon.
Yeah, because you know why? Because I can take my dragon and turn it into a refrigerator with fucking machine guns. That's why.
If you treat it right,
Digimon's
or if you treat it wrong,
if I do enough push-ups with my fighter bracelet, my Agumon will become a refrigerator with machine guns and cannons on it. So, yeah.
And it's like, when you think of Pokemon, I'm giving them shit for these okay-ish designs. But then again, I look at Digimon, and like you just said, they literally can they're in a back room,
do whatever the fuck
with
they
like
want.
child's toys, and they're just like, what if we put like this hydro cannon on the opposite end of a dumbwaiter? Perfect.
And then put a dragon head on it because fuck you.
Yeah, and then we'll paint it tiger colors because that's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's kind of how that goes. And speaking of just doing it because fuck you, today's show is Shougeki Gouraigan.
It is exactly a fuck you show. All right, so
because that's essentially what it is. It is a parody show written by the one and only Keita Amemiya and Toshike Inoue.
When you think of these two names, it's like that should have been either something that changed the industry or exactly what this is.
And yep, this is certainly something. So Shougeki Gouraigan premiered in, let me get the year here. Where is it? Premiered in fucking like 2014.
Yep.
Hang on, I had the info. I thought I had the
2013.
info. 2013. There we go. Yeah, like I said, it's written by Toshiki Inoue and designed and created and directed by Keita Amemiya. It's only 13 episodes, and it is a huge parody on the Sentai formula and all kinds of things with that. This ran on the midnight block, I believe, with like Garo and stuff like that, because there's boobies all over the place.
There is so much gratuitous nudity that is just like, and lechery, and like, this is
shameless.
All right, they definitely were like, have fun. We don't care.
I'm pretty sure, and I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like half of the female actors were probably porn stars.
I don't know.
Because like there's just a lot of like really gratuitous nudity that like I feel like a lot of people wouldn't be okay with.
So like they didn't do that with the main actresses. Like they pretty much stayed very,
because the main girl's a weirdo and doesn't really do anything.
Dude, all right. So anyway, so this show basically revolves around this demigod-esque demon-looking thing called Go, and he was responsible for hunting down these escaped prisoner entities that are just like him, but I guess they're just a different name. So it deals a lot with classism and shit like that. Like there's so many, even though this is a parody show, there are so many things that they managed to squeeze into this somehow in some way that you can still find, okay, so yes, that's a joke, but it's supposed to be like a comment on XYZ. They did it poorly, but they did it anyway. Like, anyway. There's a lot of that in every episode.
This show is very like every episode has a message, kind of like how Sentai is always like, hey, be happy, be friendly, be whatever. And every episode has this like, don't be a lecherous perv, don't be this, don't be this thing on society. Like a lot of it is that kind of stuff, but like my biggest issue with this is the goddamn ADR. Holy hell.
Yeah, okay, so Go, let me put some pictures up so people can see you in the Discord who we're talking about here. Go is the main character. Go is he an Oni? I got the Hikari Bito and Hikari Bito are the hero versions. They're kind of like defenders of the galaxy, if you will. I pulled it up here so our friends at home can see it. This is all 5 of our characters we're going to get to in a second. Go is front and center. He is our red. He is our leader. And really the only difference between a Hikari Bito and whatever he hunts, which are the Kage Rubito, seems to be someone going like, yo, you're an asshole. That seems to be the only difference. Apparently it is a kind of just a felon type title where like instead of being like you're a felon or you're a prisoner, they're just like you're a Kagari Bito or whatever. So it's basically no different than what he is. It's just so he's transporting these prisoners to be taken somewhere, and they're beset by a planet-sized enemy. Which is like a half woman. Because he kills it. All right, so oh my god, there's so much to think about in this opening. So you get the idea that he's a cop. He's being charged with transporting these prisoners that are being held in like these, I don't know, like these tome things where they're like sealed away. Yeah. Okay, so this attack damages his ship, and they all manage to escape. But one of my favorite parts in this opening is he's got this massive ship, dude, and it's impressive. I'm gonna try to find it.
It reminds me of the Gokai Galleon, honestly.
It's a nice ship. This, to say the least, the CG that's used is okay. It's fine. But when it counts, it looks okay. It looks pretty decent.
So like 90% of the show is shot on green screen, or at least, actually, I shouldn't say that. Most of the battles are shot on green screen, is what I should say.
All of the battles, dude. Like Jesus. And it has this weird. I think I'll put a picture of it here. When they do the battles, except for the beginning. So the beginning, he's got this dope ship, right? And he's firing like all these missiles and shit, and it's just he's like launching. And mind you, he's trying to fight this planet-sized Magi, which is what they call the monsters in this show.
They seem to be like evil spirits almost. There's a very like spiritual Shinto vibe going on through the whole thing, and that kind of seems to be the source of their power and sort of their inspiration. They're very like Shinto demon yokai kind of deal going on.
There's a lot of Buddhism in this show.
Yes, maybe not Shinto Buddhism, maybe more than what I'm thinking of. So like you have a Monkey King type dude, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and here I'm pulling up this right here because it kind of has what I was talking about. But for the battles, they have these battles in like this grid system where they are like surrounded by these colors and their banners, and there's like these totems that are behind them that have like these weird goofy people dancing in them. I think I took a couple pictures of that.
Yeah, and it's pretty fun because they all sound different, and their like main dude on these things are all different depending on when they're fighting and who's fighting. And yeah, it's almost like this holodeck kind of thing going on where he like, let's do battle, and they get transported to this thing, and they have like an official Hikari Bito duel to see who's going to become the other's underling. And that's essentially how he builds his Sentai team. The first couple episodes, each episode is he meets one of these. These are all the former prisoners, by the way. So they all fall to Earth after the ship is destroyed. And essentially we spend the next 5 or 6 episodes meeting the crew, you know, the kind of typical Sentai formula, which is, you know, purposeful, where Red goes around and has a solo episode with each of them before building the team.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How do you, I know how you feel about the ADR. How do you feel about the characters?
They're definitely diverse, and they're definitely supposed to be plays on the Sentai formulas. Like you have the kind of like suave Urataro's type person. You have the
my god.
You have the, I mean, essentially the Imogen personalities, right? You have Go's Momotaros. You have Kintaros, who is this you know, big blue dude, Gon. And you have your princess lady, who also is obsessed with Go, which is kind of awkward. And then you have like the feral boy, which is Rai, who's our Yellow Ranger.
Rai, if you will. Rai is the wild look. So they do a lot of like pretty weird things where they take a lot of liberties by adding CG to the Toku outfits, and Rai's what they do with his eyes always freak me out. Like he has the most weirdly animated monkey eyes, and I can't look at him long, man.
Yeah.
When
they kind of do like a Deadpool thing with them, where like they'll move it around.
And with Rai, it's just always so weird. Like,
to be fair, I think he's the only one whose eyes you can actually see. So
they slip in a lot of Go's when they do the close-ups when he does the power-up. So Go's design, like I think we were talking
forehead thing.
Yeah, we were just touching on it before. But Go is supposed to be some kind of Oni, I think. Rai is obviously Sun Wukong. He's just a lightning golden monkey.
This one right here for you guys watching at home.
Yep. Go, which is the female, she is the like a swan
princess.
Yeah, some kind of weird
she's
amalgam of that.
Hime-chan.
Geki, who's probably my favorite design.
I knew it would be.
It's so cool. And look, so his episode is one of my favorite ones, because when they introduce him, he's like this
he's DDR master.
Yeah, he's a gamer god type of thing, where he's like, he beats like all these challengers, and there's like the one moment before Go shows up where he's like this legendary challenger shows up, and all it is just like 2 seconds of her going, I will finally defeat you, and then in 2 seconds she's like, oh no, my honor. like it's just like, oh okay, that was cool. But it even though he's like a discount Deno, like legit, this guy is like, you know, who's that guy that looks like Tom Hardy? He did that weird movie where he's like a robot. He's being controlled by a chip. Anyway, he just looks enough like Tom Hardy where he gets by on it. Mm-hmm. I think that's this guy's deal.
He just gets by looking like Utaros.
He just gets by looking like the looking like him. But anyway, what I like about him the most, obviously his design. I think I'll put a better picture of it up there. But in his episode, he's fighting in his like the weird realm against Go, and Go's like getting pissed off because he can't like land a hit on him. He's like, what the hell, like fight me like I want to fight. And he's like, no, this is how I fight. Like, no, I'm sorry. Okay,
fuck off. This is it. Like, this is what you get.
Like, if you're gonna win, you're gonna beat me by your skill, and that's just what it's gonna take. And even after he beats him, he still doesn't admit defeat. Like, he's like, yeah, but you didn't beat me, your skill beat me. I'm like, yeah, man. Sorry, guys.
I thought that was a really cool. So like, there's a lot of the show I don't like. I'm gonna be honest. But like, there is some really cool moments in this show. I don't want to take away from those. And like, honestly, the team building fights I thought were the strongest part of this whole thing. And like little moments like that where he's like, no, like this is how I fight. You fucking learn to deal with it, or you're gonna be my underling. So and it's little stuff like that.
It's a J drama with some Toku injected in it, because there's a lot of stuff in here that's like,
there's so much talking, just characters talking.
The main girl, he told me, is dealing with her ability to see monsters, and she's coming, like, there's literally a plot point where her vision of being able to see monsters stops when she's on her lady cycle. And it's a big plot point in an episode for some reason,
like the second episode.
And there's so much like stuff like that, and so much boobage in this, like,
and that's why she's also the like main girl. She's kind of our grounding point that kind of learns all this stuff, because she's able to see the Magi, and she's also able to see Go and his companions. So she's always been able to see these monsters, like you said, and then she sees Go, who's this dude who's like completely different from anything else. She's like, yo, what the hell is this? And that's how she kind of gets wrapped up in all this, because he just crashed on Earth. And they do this kind of like Transformers thing where they can pick how they look, and that's usually a kind of fun ride that all the characters go through, except for Gon. Gon just kind of picked one, because they probably
Gon
thought
was
like,
already his. Listen,
Gon and Geki were.
You want to know my impression of Gon? I was like, dude, this guy's got my weapon and Carl's armor.
Yep.
Like,
I was gonna say that's my favorite design. So
yeah, I was like, that is straight up just look at this. Hold on, let me drop this in.
So he's this dude right here. I'll pull it back up for everyone at home. He's the blue one here. He has this giant demon face on his chest that is clearly his real face, because that emotes and things. And then he has like this possessed armor thing like this, and it has like almost like a lute horn coming out of it. It is dope as hell, and he's definitely the big body, and he just carries around a giant cannon that can full power blast. So
it's kind of cool though. About that cannon, so it works on like a timer system, right? So he charges the shot, and then you think he has like 0.99 of a second, something like that, before he can actually fire it. But it becomes a critical moment for him, because that gives Go the second to brace himself for, like, all right, he goes around and he strategically beats all these people, like, okay, it's expected, right? But against Gon, he legitimately does not win.
No, but Gon goes, I respect the effort, kid.
Yep. Good shit, bro.
Yeah.
I'll follow you. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
which is kind of cool.
Man, that was bad. Like, I'm like, wait, but he lost.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait,
but he earned that respect, yo.
And that's when he's like walking up to him. He's like, "You son of a bitch! You took that shit like a G." I like that.
My favorite part about Gon is when he's in his human form, he'll just pull a fucking musket on whoever he deems necessary.
That's what I was talking about. My weapon. He's got my gun. That's a nice gun. Like,
my man goes absolute justice. What's up?
Let's so like when they introduce him, he jumps in on this like couple's cute little dinner party or whatever they're doing in the park, and he just like kicks the shit out of the dude, scares him, makes him run off, and then shoots him in the back. And you don't even realize that it's a monster until after he's shot him. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, you son of a bitch,
fucking
bam. And you're just like, wait, what? He just murdered that guy, and then he turns into one of those Magi. It's like so cool as shit. Like,
I thought
holy
that was
fuck, this guy's intense.
absolutely hilarious. I think Gon is definitely my favorite out of the 5, honestly, because he's absurd.
He's that level of ridiculous, and he stays that way.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many back and forths with this plot, because this is, like I said, it's a J drama.
Yeah.
You have a lot of weirdo twists on your stereotypical.
Yeah. So they tried to do
tropes.
They went with a monster of the week formula without having a monster every week, which was weird and interesting, and probably why I didn't like click with it as much, because there's really not like, and I understand that's also a commentary on the formula, because that's literally the point of the show. And it was just, the things that carried the episodes were kind of boring. So I sat through and watched 10 of the 13 episodes. Most of 11, I definitely watched. I may have audited 11, and then 12 and 13, I skipped around a little bit because I just got bored.
You phoned those in.
I phoned those in pretty goddamn hard. And I should mention as well, I saw this when it first came out because I had no idea what it was. It just happened to be on TV Nihon, so I downloaded it. And I'm pretty sure I did the same thing then. So yeah, because I don't remember a lot of the ending other than like the fight. And then I was watching it and I was like, that's why I don't remember. Yeah, okay.
Well, let me drop a couple things in the Discord for you just to get these points out here. This is the kind of show that it bounced around. So there is a towel episode.
Yep. Where
they face each other in these challenges.
Yep. So essentially, after they build the team, the boys they all win a trip to a bathhouse. And so it's kind of like them learning the rules of the bathhouse. And then it gets to a thing where all the girls are like, hey, let's play a dating game. Ha ha ha. And the guys see that as like a, let's see who's the best man, that kind of situation. And then all of a sudden, you can actually see him holding this is Gon in his human form. He is holding his musket. He's holding his goddamn musket, ready to start blasting.
He's always ready.
He's prepared.
He's always ready. But like, okay, so they do a lot of that where they're trying to make this very Toku, very Sentai, where they're teaching a lot of cultural things about Japan. Like this bathhouse episode ties into something that what's important to Japan, and they go and they do like this weird abstraction of the word fushugetsu, something like that. Something cultural to them, where they just go to different places and pick out other aspects of Japanese culture that don't add up to the thing that they were talking about. And it's kind of, I see what they were doing with it. It's cute.
It's almost like a Pee-wee's Playhouse, like word of the day kind of thing, because it's all about the Hikari Bito, like learning something. Like one of the episodes is focused around sushi and them trying to get sushi, and they call it the spirit of Japan and all this kind of stuff. And so, that's how you kind of learn the culture stuff. Umeboshi
now, mind
is one
you
of them.
guys, Umeboshi is that's one of my favorite episodes, actually, because in that episode it's the spooky one where there's this ghost lady that's chasing them.
It's very like Sadako Ring Girl kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. But what was it called? Oh, the same bathhouse episode. But before I want to tie back into that, because this actually, even though this was like one of the episodes that lost me, they did something with it that tied it back into everything. So in the very beginning, like we said, Jin, he's the reason that Go is he's dedicated to tracking Jin down and amassing the team, because Jin is
he's number one on the
somehow
wanted
sent
list.
a call out. Yeah, he sent a call out for 1,000 soldiers or whatever to attack Earth in XYZ days.
Yep.
So that's kind of the whole ordeal, is why he has to find these people to 100 days.
That's why he has to build the team, because he can't do it alone. He's not powerful enough.
Right. So boom, that's the whole plot. So anyway, in this bathhouse scene, Jin comes back after taking over basically Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
He's like this mogul who he was like on. When Jin lands on Earth, he's this red, ragged, kind of cool looking monster. It's kind of
very bright. He's literally like bright red, almost like mummy wrapped up,
like Mum-Ra if he had a little more meat on him. You know what I mean?
And it's like it's bright red. So they're in like he's in a very like gray filtered, not even filtered. It was just like the ocean and like at a gray like kind of cloudy day on the beach, and there's just bright red thing coming out of the water. And this mogul dude is like, I'm ready to die. He was gonna go kill himself.
He's like the most depressed dude, and then boom. So he offers his body to him. He takes his body, Shibri's him and takes over his whole life, which includes this psycho nymphomaniac. What do you call her?
Secretary, I guess.
Aide.
Yeah. So this is one of the points of the show where I was like, are we really doing this for the 19th time in this season?
And they did it over and over and over.
So and literally anything Jin does, this lady literally has an orgasm over, and they end up pumping.
And they don't hold back on it. That's like legit.
Yeah, like there's a point where she threatens to murder the whole Rin. We'll talk about in a minute. She threatens to kill him, and she cuts up this wedding dress that Jin had made because there's a whole point to that. But like Jin is pissed and then just grabs her ass. It's like a close-up shot of her butt cheek, and he just grabs it and is like, "Oh, I'll kill you if you touch her." It's so weird. So it had to have, I feel like it had to have been, like I said, someone's favorite porn star, and they were just like really into these shots and things. Like it was way awkward.
All for fan service. All fan service.
Wasn't a fan of that service, to be honest.
Yeah, because they're like, okay, so yes, they increase on that a fold, and then at some point, that same nymphomaniac lady becomes a Magi.
Yeah,
and
he did say, to be fair, that wasn't kind of out of left field. He did mention early in the season that he was like, "Oh, because you have this crazy obsession, you would make a good Magi." So the way I interpret it is that she
just kind of
she like through this slow, big air quotes, slow obsession that she had and just became a Magi at one point. But it was awkward. I could have done without that, honestly. But
they didn't need it. Because mind you, the whole time he's doing that, his motivation is to find Rin, who, like you said, is the biggest plot point in this whole show.
Yep.
Go and Jin were friends before Rin. Rin was in love with Go and then had an affair with Jin, and Jin took her feelings away from Go, and it drove a wedge between them.
Did you guys ever hear about how Yoko Ono broke up the Beatles? That's kind of what happened.
That's exactly what happened. She's
Yoko fucking Ono, and she lives up to that like nobody's business. Good Lord, I hate Rin. She's the worst character in this whole thing.
Cannot stand her. Cannot stand anything about her. No. You know what's the worst thing about her is that she fucked up the best character.
Hang on now. Stickosaurus Rex with the raid. What's going on, dude? Hello, friends.
Man, what's up, guys?
Welcome to Tokudon, our weekly podcast. We are talking about Shougeki Gouraigan, the Sentai parody done by Toshiki Inoue and Keita Amemiya.
So buckle up, because this has been like we were just getting.
What's up, Wild Force? Yo hoy, how are you?
Yo hoy. Yo.
I have no other options.
Yes, well, Granny was the one anchor, other than Hitomi, who was like going through the whole thing. Granny was the one that was like, "Hey, reality's right here. Come back to it."
Yep.
And when they do this weird wackadoo left field reveal that at some point in the prehistory, Rin ran away from both of them, came to Earth, and was hiding out here, and ran into Granny when Granny was still Granny. Granny dies, as grannies do, and then
grannies fucking do.
She became Granny, and has been Granny this whole time.
Yep, but somehow forgot.
Forgot everything, and yet Hitomi, who has this power to see the faces of actual monsters,
until she doesn't.
Granny's. Yeah. So okay.
Just let it happen.
We're gonna take those potholes.
Just let it fucking happen. Okay.
So, Rin is Granny. Granny's now gone.
And again, Rin is the love interest of both Jin and Go. Yoko goddamn Ono.
So she Yoko Ono's the both of them, and that's what sets them on their blood path here. So Jin, to his credit, is dedicated to making the whole thing happen for her. He's like, I'm gonna wipe out humanity, and we can rule this planet together.
We're gonna create a utopia for us. And Go is like, the Earth is precious. Come be my girlfriend again, please. That's his motivation.
Yeah. Mind
Literally.
you, he's
that is the verbatim the verbs that come out of, or words that come out of his mouth. Please be my girlfriend again.
Go has this weird old timey speaking too. Like he expresses his emotions and he verbalizes them.
Yeah.
So I am bored. You know what I mean? He'll say shit like that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And I assume that's to kind of push home the fish out of water kind of feeling that he has. He's also, it's very clear that these beings are much older and can live a lot longer than like humans, obviously. They kind of just convey
cryptic
that.
about that.
Yeah.
Because one character has been on Earth for 100 years.
Yeah. And he's just kind of old too. And like time just doesn't seem to be as much of a thing for them. Because the construct of man.
Yo. All right. So the thing about Rin and what you'll see, I think I might have a picture of her. Yeah, here.
I will not disparage this stream with her picture.
I just need to prove a point.
Rin is garbage.
Rin is trash, but they have this inconsistency where some of the Hikaribito look like monsters and some look like people. Mm-hmm. Rin looks like a people.
Looks like a people.
Just flair. Yeah. And another one is the old dude who we were just talking about, who just looks like a humanoid Tengu. I can't get a decent enough picture. These all look tiny.
I will say, so with that, not to take away from that guy for a second, but like Rin, just so you guys fully understand, like the plot point that ends up happening with her and why we don't like her is because, essentially, again, Jin and Go are butting heads. Like they were best friends. They're not anymore. They Sasuke and Naruto that shit. At one point, they were such good friends. They were the top 2 elite soldiers in Choshinkai, which is the demon realm or whatever. And they're given these super badass, like legendary swords. And I love the designs of both of these swords. And that's their whole thing. They're the twin, they use these twin Magi blades, I think, something like that. I forget what they're called, but they receive these swords and, Go is like, oh yeah. And then she disappeared and this, that, and the other. And then Jin goes, nah, she was with me, bro. And then Go's like, what? And Go gave her his soul, quite literally. It turned into like a little jewel thing. And that's also the crux of this whole thing. He gave her his light is what the whole problem is. And this ends up being the reason why they can't use their Megazord, quite literally. So he's trying to find her to get his light back because he's, after he built the team, that's kind of the whole point. He's trying to get his light back so that they can use the power against the 1,000 soldiers because just the 5 of them isn't powerful enough. And then Rin has it because she disappeared with it. And then Jin, it's just like, but she's been my girl the whole time. She doesn't really love you. And this all crescendos when Granny is revealed to be Rin. And Rin literally spends an entire episode being a wife to Go. And then goes, nah, bro, I'm out. Juices.
She says this shit to Hitomi that pissed me off so much. She's like, every girl has this little box in their heart.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I should.
She uses the word princess, I'm pretty sure. Every princess has a box in her heart. And I was like,
you mean
you got a boner? You got a boner for Jin? Is that what it is?
You tiddled your piddle to the point where you just can't get it out of your head. So I get it. So just go get it and stop being a fucking cunt about the whole thing. Like, it was
literally like, I do like this guy more. And that was it. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that murderous bastard who just called me pretty once. Yeah, I like him a lot. Like, okay.
He's broken. I can fix him.
That's how it goes. Anyway, here, I put Go sword here, and I think this is as close as I can get to Jin sword here. But they look like
they are dope-ass swords.
Yeah, it's like Nightmare's blade with like more teeth.
To me, and I don't know how you interpret it, it looks like they took a bunch of Magi and formed them into a fucking sword is what it looks like.
That's actually not a bad look, because that's actually true, probably.
Comrade Aaron with a subscription, appreciate you. And also we had Orville with the follow.
Welcome, friend.
What's going on?
What up, bro?
And then this is the other one. Which one do you like better?
I like Jin sword.
You like Jin sword? I knew you would.
More like a sword.
I like Go's because it's a big fucking dowel.
Yeah, it's just, it feels more like I'm going to cleave you in half and then come back up and chop the other half.
I just thought it was very funny because I was watching this and I was like, that's literally us. We just fucking fought.
It's like it's you know how many of those moments I have, like that's
literally just us. Yeah, this like conniving sociopath asshole over here, and I'm just like screaming about sushi. That's pretty much our dynamic, guys. If you haven't learned that by now, it's been like 4 years.
I planned the world's cleansing 3 times and in various ways, and I know you would just throw me because you're bored.
Yep.
Because you're just an asshole.
I would be like, I'm gonna light this sword on fire because it looks pretty.
Because it looks pretty, and guess what? I'm gonna boop you with it.
Yeah.
Go sit down.
Because I can.
Now think about what you were trying to do, you shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much how that would go. I just thought that was really funny because I was like, this is literally just us. That's fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
Which made that a little more endearing because Jin does eventually basically become the Sixth Ranger. And that's kind of like
true. Yeah.
And again, because of the parody of the Sentai stuff, he essentially is at odds with everyone and then, becomes part of the team. So. Because at the very pinnacle of the moment when Rin's like, I'm gonna go be with Jin, and Go he spends an episode and a half in this depression while the other and by depression other heroes Rob means anime crying at the sky, literally. He goes like for like an episode and a half.
So sad. I'm so just literally the worst kind of obnoxious. But anyway, the other characters are getting their asses handed to them. They're trying to just walk away from the whole thing because he again. let me paint this picture for you. They can't master their power because he gave away a crucial part of his essence to her.
He gave away, think of it like this. He gave away his Zeo crystal or his power coin to his girlfriend. That's what he did. And so they can't use the Megazord.
Right. So boom, there's the first strike. Then they go through this entire journey of him discovering that Granny is Rin, but she falls ill. Mm-hmm. There's only one thing that can purify him.
It's the Power Stone.
And get him his light back. It's literally called the Power Stone. And what happens to be the case is that he uses the power of the Power Stone to heal Granny into being full-time Rin again.
Yeah. He heals Rin, who wakes up from her slumber and is gone. Yep.
And then gone.
And you know what the team does in a very, very realistic fucking reaction goes, twice, dude? Really?
Jog on.
Twice?
Jog
you
on,
goddamn
buddy.
hypocrite. I'm out of here.
And they bounce on him. And then the second to last episode is legit. The second to last episode is him going, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Because
literally there's a 5-minute montage of him going to each and every one of them as they're on a date with a human girl or boy. And like they're literally in the middle of a date and he's begging them to come back to the team because they sent this kaiju to the earth. The 1,000 soldiers that are coming sent a kaiju and it's sleeping and he got his ass beat by it because he tried to fight it and lost miserably.
Bro, hold on. I want to see if this works here because I am absolutely stealing this idea. If this loads up, please.
Was it God, I'm bored, I'm taking a nap?
No, that same monster that shows up here. Yes, it's loaded. All right, watch that clip real quick. I don't know if you remember this or not, but when that fucker shows up, it's so badass.
The horse going into him?
The horse that he rides in on is like this mechanized jet. He lands, he does the hero pose. The horse breaks apart into like the Voltron components, goes into like this light portal in his back and gone. That's so cool. That was so dope. I'm
down for that.
I'm taking that somehow. That was cool as shit. Like, fuck, they used that on an enemy. I mean.
Like, there's some really cool badass moments like that in this show for as like long. This, like I said, this is 13 episodes. We didn't do it last week because I couldn't get through the fucking episodes. I watched like 4 at a time and I was just like, oh my god. Now, to be fair, the first like 5 where he's building the team are like good episodes. I had fun with those episodes. And then immediately afterwards, I was like, oh my god, this is boring.
It trades the Toku for the J-drama and it stays on that train while giving you like these sporadic fights and these kind of cool moments like we just saw. That horse thing, cool as shit, but that's like I think the third to last episode. Yeah, episode 11.
Yep.
That's like, come on. That's how long you go with the moments of brilliance.
Yep. Julio has seen the show and hasn't seen it in a long time, apparently. Yeah. I had watched it as well when it first aired.
What about this MacGuffin? This thing. In the Discord, I just dropped a picture of the
so
rings.
Getting back to the Tengu dude, Haku. Yes, he is this humanoid Tengu looking guy who eventually is a pivotal plot point to them MacGuffining their way out of it. But he randomly, he's another Hikari Bito that is hanging out on Earth and has been there for 100 years. That's why we were saying we're not sure if the age thing is really a problem for them. But eventually just gives them fucking rings. Like rings. Just gives them rings. And he says, these are for you guys. And then nothing happens with them.
I don't get it.
No, I was waiting for it to be like a battleizer kind of thing. Like they always get like an SPD, like Delta, you know, the SWAT forms or something like that. Or like the Maji Rangers get their like upgrade, or like, you know, Mega Ranger, Ginga Man, not Mega Ranger, Ginga Man gets their like royal thing, you know, Lost Galaxy, they get their like royal thing. I thought it was gonna be something like that, but you know, they would need fucking Sentai forms to do that. We haven't even seen those yet. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yet. But
so maybe that's what those were. Is that the Sentai forms that they unlocked?
Maybe. I
we're gonna go with that,
so.
Because
Let's go
there's
with that,
no other reason. Yeah, there's no other reason that those things work.
Other than they can sell them for big buku bucks. That is the only other reason. It is things for P Bandai to sell.
So like we said, it goes from the first 5 episodes, which are very Toku, to the J drama up until the last 2 to 3 episodes, which then become Toku again.
But honestly, it's just really the last episode, because the 2 before that are a fucking snore fest. They're pretty bad.
Yeah, they inject them with a lot of the tropes. But they do this little number in an episode, which I appreciate a lot.
So after they form the team, they kind of drive home the Sentai thing, where they henshin and do a roll call, and then there's a scrolling message across the screen that there's no actual henshin, they're just posing. And this is the same horror episode, actually.
Yes.
Because they have dubbed themselves Neko Gatami Pika Man, I believe.
Pika Man. Yep. Because they have sparkle power.
Yeah.
They fight with sparkle power.
Which is one thing they randomly mentioned in like 3 episodes before that. So
it's so great.
But yeah, and they even have, you know, while they're striking these poses, they have the color smoke poofs, and then it goes into the big explosion, which is kind of funny. Like I said, there's nuggets in this show. And that is really the only thing that kept me going, because I'd be like falling asleep and like bored out of my mind, and then something like this would happen, and I'd be like, wow, this is cool.
Okay. I put a screen. I saw it was episode 7 where there's a translation where it says, "Welcome Nakotomaki Shopping Centers Group, Shougeki Gouraigan Film Crew, Elementary School Class."
Yep. Yeah, so
shit like that they have in there. Like,
it's just, they know. And like half the time there's characters just talking to the camera. There's one recurring side character that literally goes, I guess I am part of the whole show. Here I am again.
Maybe I will be here. So
I should be a recurring character. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, I actually got a little chuckle out of this. The first time she shows up, she's like, hello, my name is this. And like talking directly to the camera. And then she shows up again and she's like, hey, I'm a recurring character. My name's this. And then like every time she gets a little less sure she's going to be in the next episode. And she's like, I guess I am a recurring character. I don't know if this is the last time you'll see me. I thought that was kind of charming and funny.
It's the little moments like that made this shit dope. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's the charm of this show came in like nuggets in between the draw stuff that they fit in there.
Yeah.
And it took me like reflecting on it. Like, did I really not like this show, or do I do that? Did I need to understand what they were doing with it? You know, like.
Yeah,
you have to have the appreciation that they're satirizing it like hell.
Yeah,
but
it's Inoue satirization, which is
that's what I mean. Like
painful sometimes,
right? And
and I feel like some of it also might be because neither of us are like huge Sentai fans. You know what I mean? And there's probably a lot of stuff in here that like would be deeper and more meaningful to like full Sentai fans, or at least people who have seen a little more seasons than we have. We are absolutely, if you guys are new to the channel, we are absolutely rider folk around here, around these parts. We're trying, but we're absolutely rider folk.
It's just the way it is, man. I'm sorry, guys, but we're trying. But it's not for lack of effort, because, dude.
I kind of want to go back to, before we talk about the ending. I want to go back to the individual episodes where he kind of builds the team and their fights and everything, because like I said, those are the best parts. I do want to talk about those episodes specifically, because honestly, the rest of them just kind of mashed together.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like we were kind of like detracting too much, but the positives of this, the fight choreography is phenomenal.
It's pretty cool.
This show.
It's pretty solid,
dude. Along with the camera work, yes, the CG can sometimes be like a bit much, but you can see that even they do a lot of out of they do a kind of like a weapon transition. So they begin every fight kind of like kung fu.
Weapon advent.
Yeah. Advent, thank you. So it's every fight has a progression. So you see like they start off fist to fist, and you see like Go has a very angry Shotokan karate style, and he fights like against these other people who fight differently. Rai is the monkey jumping all over the place, and they utilize that in their fights.
And that's when, cool going back to what we were talking about with Geki, he's doing these mirages and he's kind of multiplying himself and he's doing this illusion type stuff, and that's when Sho is like, yo, just fight me, just literally square the fuck up, what are you doing?
He's like, I am fighting.
Geki's like, yeah, I am. What are you talking about?
I am. This is how I do it. I'm sorry you're not okay with that.
Yeah. And like, that's really cool to see. And like, that's the stuff that catches me in Sentai when we see these direct personality comparisons and stuff like this. Because like, again, they do this kind of stuff because this is parodying.
You'll get there.
Yep. They're satiricaling. They're making fun of the Sentai formula, where the Red Ranger has his individual episodes, meeting the team, building the team, that kind of thing. So the first one we meet is Rai when it comes to this, building it, and like you said, and again, they're trying to do this like Transformers choose their form kind of thing, and he's going around, and his goal is to sleep with all of the most beautiful women on the planet. That's his goal.
He wants to create a harem, and he will fit any taste that he literally goes from like a geeky to a buff dude to a rocker
to like every time someone's like, he walks into a new bar and they're like, we don't like that type of dude, we like this dude, and he transforms into them. So he just like gets this train of women behind him.
The weirdest one is the karaoke dude. Like, I don't even know where that one came from.
Dude had legit buck teeth.
Like, he was busting out this boom, 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 boom. I'm like, well, what is that? What is happening? He must be some kind of celebrity that I.
He has to be an actual like singer or something. Like that had to be it.
That was so bizarre. It was so weird. But but to say the least, that was the weirdest one. But my man is transforming into. So there's beautiful moments in that where he's choosing a different form, and he gets called out. It's Go who calls him the lecherous. Oh my god, lecherous pup, something like that. It's some old school thing, and Rai's like, why do you speak like that? It's moments like that in the dialogue. It's just like,
and the best part is he's doing all this, like Go is watching because he's kind of like chasing him around town while he's doing this, and Go's like, well, if you want to have a real, like, he basically does a Momotaro's line where he's like, if you want to have a real climax, you'll come fight me. And then he's literally sitting in this den of women who are like fawning over him, and it's basically an orgy, like one rating below an orgy kind of thing. Like, legit, there's some boobs hanging out, there's underwear everywhere, and like Rai is like, god damn it, he's right.
I want to fight, damn it. He's like, but I want to fight. I just want to fight.
I really just want to fight.
And it's cool.
So yeah, they square up. Rai uses a big old dumb staff because essentially he's the Monkey King. It's like a double-ended club kind of thing that he can fire lightning at.
It looks like a double cannibal.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Cool. Oh man.
Yeah, and no, it's solid. And then after that, we move on to Geki. I think was after that, and we talked about that.
Geki was after him. Yeah, Geki is the gamer dude, and he just gets his ass kicked. And it's kind of cool because he's bombarding him with these clones, right? And these clones are like shooting these balls at Go, who's like blocking everything, and it never happens again. But as he's blocking, one of his horns kind of like blooms an eyeball, and it acts like this third eye, and it creates a new ability for him, and he's able to like see through the clones, and then the one real Geki has like a fucking indicator on him, and he's like, and then he goes and gets him.
That shit again is very Sentai, where they bust out this random move that they'll use once or twice and they'll never talk about it again. I mean, that's just Toku in general, right? Like Kamen does that shit with forms all the time.
Exactly. And it's just like, it was like one of those where he even acknowledged, he's like, that's my new skill. And it's like, okay, that's where we're gonna leave it. Like, cool. Sho is the female. She uses like these bow and arrows, and her whole episode is just about like
becoming the most beautiful,
right? And like she does. It's one of my favorite moments. God, now I'm realizing like how much I'm appreciating this shit.
In the first, like I said, the first like 6 episodes of this show are really fun and exciting.
How much did you like the fact that when she would steal forms, right? She would see somebody, whoever it was, and she would assume their form, and the person that she would assume would become a butterfly. And the butterfly,
she did this like hand gesture, like Sailor Moon shit, and then the butterfly was literally on a stick, And there's a fucking stage, like, if you guys have ever seen like stage shows and kabuki shows, there's always people like dressed head to toe in black that are basically special effects, right? Like, you're not supposed to really pay attention to them, but they're like, if you ever saw the classic old video of like, it was an old comedy show where this karate dude comes out and like chops the thing in half, and then like it's two people, like they split in half, and
the shadow shows,
it's that kind of thing. So there's these old performers in head to toe black just holding like sticks and waving these fucking butterflies up and down, and like following her around.
They're sexy dressed head to toe. They have veils. They have funeral garb. They're sexy. So so they have all that shit going on because it's fan service on top of it, bro. Like, it's just the little gems like that. But so her whole episode is she's just like assuming these roles, and she becomes Hitomi, and that pisses Go off. And then he finally fights her, and he beats her, but she had already released her like ultimate attack that was coming back down on them, and goes like, "Oh shit, I got you!" And he takes like this 300 barrage of arrows. Like, it was like,
well, that was right after one of my favorite parts that stuck out even when I was like, yo, let's rewatch this show, because it came across my YouTube. It's all on YouTube, by the way. If you guys want to watch it, you can watch it on YouTube. I don't know if it's legit or not, but it's on there, so
it's on there.
Go nuts.
Go for it.
So
you didn't hear from us.
I don't really care if you say you did, it's fine. But either way, there's this really cool moment that always stuck out to me from when I first watched this show, where she's standing on Go's sword and just releasing arrow after arrow. And you see this like mountain of arrows, like video game, like bulk up like fucking Mario. And she's just like unloading. And I mean, if you guys watched the show before, you know my love of arrows, and I have the weird fucking thing with like bow and arrow shit. So she's just blah, 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 blah. And I thought that was the coolest shit ever. That's the part that always stuck out to me.
These fights were the saving graces, because they're so cool. You guys at least check out the fights, man. Like, the first 5 episodes are this shit. Come back for episode 12 and 13.
You can watch like 7 and 8 and then just skip to like 12, because you're really not going to miss a whole lot in between. Rin shows up and then she fucks everyone over, and that's about it. So, and then, after that is gone. We talked about that a little bit. He just runs around with a fucking musket, like two-piecing people. It's ridiculous. And, you
Gon
know,
is the legit leader.
Gon is the real leader. Let's be real here. And then I believe literally the episode after that is the Pikaman episode, when they all kind of form together. And then, so all that shit goes down. Rin, Yoko Ono's the fucking band. And so, Jin and Go have their fucking fight. Speaking of fights, Jin and Go finally have. So we should also mention, the only time you see Jin in a Hikari Bito form is when he's covered in the red tassels until episode 12. You do not see him the entire time. You see a silhouette when Hitomi looks at him when they're in the bathhouse. You just see a silhouette. And he looks like he could be Go's brother. Honestly, they have very similar designs.
Yes, it is another Go. It is just that. Just think of another Go.
Which is really cool, which is really nice. And again, their fight is pretty dope too. It's very like, you know, Tommy and Jason fighting in MMPR. Like, it is a legit dope fight. He disrespects Go pretty hard.
They have a couple moments. So leading up to that fight, they have a couple moments where they like lose the will to fight each other. They're like, why are we doing this? And it's like,
we were buddies. Why did we even, like, really, over a girl? Like, that's why we're doing this.
And it's that same energy when she's brought back into it, where it's just like, you were so close.
And literally in the bathhouse, they literally buried the hatchet and were like, you know, just get out of my way, dude. Like, I'm not trying to fight you. It's cool. Like, let bygones be bygones. Just let me do my thing. And of course, Go's like, you know, he kind of takes the hero thing to it, and he's like, nah, man, like, I gotta protect the earth, but like, we're cool. And I will say, last thing about the bathhouse episode, there's a really cool shot at the end where they're all kind of partying, and the human versions are partying with the Hikari Bito versions of themselves. And I thought that was really fun, honestly.
So
you have two Go's being depressed about Rin and Jin and all this stuff, and they're just like depression drinking with each other. And Hikari Bito Go literally puts his hand on the other one and is like, "It's okay, buddy." That moment was like, Geki, I think, is like playing games with the other one kind of thing. Like, it's so fun.
There's a moment, if you remember, in the umeboshi scene where Hitomi is eating a piece of umeboshi on the beach, and she's being pursued by the ghost, and Go is like trying to get to her, and they're running across the beach.
They hand off the batons.
The human Go starts booking it, and he just hands a baton off to the Hikaribito Go, who takes it.
Honestly, that felt very Gil Henshin kind of thing, and I fucking love that Henshin. I think it's so cool. It's a dope way to do that, and it's just there's a couple moments like that where they do that kind of thing, because a lot of the show is, again, Hitomi can see them, most people can't, so they're jumping back and forth between the human and Hikaribito forms all the time, which, by the way, the shit they go through in these suits had to be trashed by the end of this, because they're in water, they're throwing them around, they're rolling around, they're doing all this stuff. But yeah, there's moments like that. And then we should also mention, in that same spot, the ghost girl, the Sadako type girl, is running and hands it off to her boar fucking horror version of herself.
And the clip I played before that, after they defeat her, they realize that she wasn't like a bad thing, but it's she's like doing this ghost swimming thing in the sky, and he's singing the words "Don't eat umeboshi" again to the tune of "Time to Say Goodbye." Like, are you kidding me? This is a moment in the show,
and this goes on for like 2 minutes. It's solid 2 minutes, and then he's like holding Hitomi's hand, and then randomly it just cuts to her on a boat, and she's like, "I'll be back. I'm gonna be a great bride." And then it just like credits, and I was like, "What the fuck?
What just happened?" And it's literally moments like that, and in the continuity is just like, nope, what's that? We're good. Moving on.
It's like, next jokes scene. Because jokes do it. Honestly, so this is gonna make or break this show for a ton of people. This is fucking Toku Family Guy. Let's just insert a fucking gag for a gag. Who cares if it makes sense?
So, okay, so let's wrap it up here.
Yeah, let's talk about the best part of the whole show, honestly, other than the first couple episodes.
So the final thing that happens to turn the story is Fortinbras shows up, and Fortinbras is the
Go accidentally kills Rin while him and Jin are fighting.
Well, that's where I was getting. So Fortinbras shows up, and he's their god king. He's their king.
He's the Choshinkai king, quite literally.
Yes, and he goes, "I hate people. I want you to kill humanity. I was on Jin's side the whole time. Hey, Jin, why don't you go ahead and do what you said you was going to do?" And Go's like already mourning. Like he's not doing anything about this. So the other Hikaribito are in the party with all the B characters that we've been introduced throughout the season. And we get their flashbacks, and we get all this, like, all these member berries that are just like, but you can't kill these people because they actually made you know what it's like to be humans and what it's like to appreciate humanity. So they decide to go against the king.
Because they love the earth, and this town has taught them how to love the earth, essentially. Because Choshinkai, and the reason he says Fortinbras, if you guys watched my Onimusha playthrough, he's literally in straight white fucking suit with white glasses, white hat. He's just some like random old dude, and he shows up and is like, humanity sucks, so we're gonna kill him. I gave Jin the okay to summon these soldiers.
So this is all going down. Jin and Go are having their final throwdown over this entire situation, including with Rin. And mind you, that fight was, not to take away anything from the fight, the fight was phenomenal, but the final sequence, you could tell, was going to end in one of those moments where somehow Rin was going to be collateral damage. And it is so telegraphed that when it was happening, I was like, yay!
She Lala Soons that shit and just fucking jumps in front of it, and takes a sword to the gut, and then I guess she goes into shock because she just turns into a robot. Apparently, when Hikaribito are dying, they turn into robots. So it was kind of cool. It was kind of. I was down for it. Like I said, I did not like that character at all. So
Go is doing this flaming spin to win attack, and he does everything he can to like hold back the blade, including like slicing open his hand to like stop the momentum of the blade.
He's trying to like pull it and like wrench it in a different direction.
And it's still just
far gone, man.
And
He's too far gone.
So she's gone, and that's when Jin goes full evil mode and Go goes full useless mode. So anyway,
full useless. Yep, that's a good way to describe it.
So for an episode and a half, he told me, he's like, what am I gonna do? I gotta pull everybody together. And you know, it's just, set all that aside, because that's the J drama. But what do we get? We get one of the dopest things of the show. We get the most Sentai of the Sentai suits
They do the full crescendo. They, if you will, just to go with the weird lecherous nature of the show, they blow their load on the full Sentai parody. And they give us Hikari Bito versions of the suits because they start fighting I'll pull it up in a second. Rob just put it in the Discord. They start fighting the Shinkai King, and he like fritzes out, and then Tengu Man comes back and gives him like the Omega bitch slap of "you're not in power anymore" because they made some vote. That was great. And he's just like a ghost man, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm the Cho Shinkai King now. You don't have any power." So he turns into a giant Tyrannosaurus like Magi thing.
Here, I have a picture of that thing.
Yeah, so he just turns into this giant. That's what he turns into. Tyrannosaurus looking thing.
Yeah, with horns. And that's it.
And they go, okay, we have to activate our great powers. And Jin gives his light to go so that he can activate his. They jump in the ship, put their Zeo crystals in the machine, and they get this super robot, this fucking super dope robot that it's the ship. It reminds me of Gokai Caliber, like I said. Gokai Galleon, I'm sorry. And it's kind of like grayed out. It gets his ass kicked at first, and Hitomi goes, I need to be able to help. And so she gathers all the B characters that are at this party. They go to the beach because they're fighting in the water, because of course they are. Because Inoue can't resist fucking water. That's why. They're fighting in the water, and Hitomi goes, I'm sorry. The Tengu Choshinkai Hakuman goes, just call their names. And what do you think they fucking say? The name of the goddamn show. Shougeki Gouraigan. And this unlocks its true form. And that's when they get the coolest fucking Sentai forms ever created. These things are so goddamn dope.
I love these suits, and they have the fangs, and they have the details on the chest pieces with the golden. Oh my god,
it's so cool. Like if there was figures of this, I would buy the fuck out of these. Look at this green one. Look at Geki being green. I love it.
I know. Look at Ghost. I love this stuff, man. This is what I was like. Wait, what's going on? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like this was so cool, and they were like, oh, this must. Yeah, Rai says it right here. Oh, this is the true grand power, and that's when they unlock their Hikari Bito-ness, and they summon their big dumb sword that they start slashing with. And that's essentially how it ends. They beat the shit out of the monster.
They stab him in the neck.
Yeah, the suits in the finale are just hands down the best part of this, the best designed thing in this whole show. I should say the final fight is kind of whatever, but the suits are so goddamn cool. They're worth the watch, honestly, just for those, unless you look at these pictures because you're watching live. Thanks, appreciate you. Julio says they remind him of the original Power Rangers. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. They're parodying of Sentai and Power Rangers and all that stuff.
And they're so good. It's so good.
Yeah, these suits are so dope. I wish there was I wish this was the fucking season, honestly. Like right. I would go through whatever bullshit they were doing just for this.
Which is funny because they do end this by like kind of like alluding that they're about to go fight the 1,000 warriors that are coming to attack.
And they just full clip show that shit.
And that's where it ends.
That's where it ends. You don't even get credits. They just clip show. They show you the journey so far. And that's all you get.
Everything up to that point. And it's nice. It was quaint because it took me a minute to realize that we weren't getting that fight. And I'm like, oh, you bastards. Yeah. You spent the entire thing going, oh, these 1,000 soldiers. And nah.
Yeah.
Like, but okay.
So, yeah, that's Shougeki Gouraigan. Like I said, I watch 1 to 6 and then skip to 12. And then you'll be great. So oh wow, hello. Is that
look at these box arts?
Yeah, that box art's dope as hell. I would. Oh yeah. God. Oh, that's the one. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm sure that Blu-ray costs a pretty penny because Blu-ray out of Japan always does. These are sick. Ooh, I like this art. Okay, yeah, no, that's cool. See, that's the thing. Yeah. Like it's Keita Amemiya being Keita Amemiya, just going full rein on his designs, doing his own thing. The designs are so cool and worth the watch by itself, just to see these suits move around and do things. It's just, unfortunately, it's bogged down by a lot of like bullshit for the sake of bullshit.
He probably walked into that fucking meeting room talking about, I have an idea. And they were like, yes. He's like, what if I Garrowed Power Rangers.
Yeah. You know how, like, cause so at this point, like, Garo had been around for a while. That aired in 2001. I believe early 2000s. So like it had been around for a minute at this point, and he's like, "What if we did Garo but Power Rangers?" And then everyone's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What if we brought Inoue and we just wrote a fucking parody?" And they were like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Well, this is gonna happen. And they're like, "We already greenlit this, didn't we?" Oh God,
yeah, we did.
Oh God,
it's too late now.
Yeah,
and I'm sure like they were like, "There's got to be something that we can salvage out of this," and they probably spent like the entire budget on these designs.
Yeah,
and
worth it. I mean, if these suits can survive in water and shit, and like full takes in the water, I'm sure they put a lot of money into those suits, honestly.
And they look damn good.
They look damn good. They look damn good, and that's unfortunate because it's surrounded by a poopy doo doo caca show, in my opinion. But even the wacky little Magi, like there's I don't have any pictures of them, but there's like the little monsters that they fight. They're basically just puppets. They like flop around. Think of like the ghost. I forget its fucking name.
Yudizen.
Yeah, Yudizen. Think of that kind of thing. Like it's just kind of like flopping around on a stick, basically. Yeah, they're fine.
So
they're fine.
Check it out.
Yeah,
like we said,
it's on YouTube. You can go check it out there. It's totally free. Make a determination for yourself.
Yeah,
the final suit's pretty dope. So there's definitely, like I said, there's definitely nuggets here. Definitely nuggets that I think everyone will be able to appreciate at some point or another.
So there's a bunch of boobage in this, so just be ready. And I found a pretty good edit that gave us that little number.
Yes. So this is one of the first characters and a prime example of the kind of thing you're going to see in the show of just happy birthday boobies. Yeah. So.
Real quick. Yeah. Final thing before that is actually the same actress as the secretary lady.
Oh, that explains a lot. Honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that is basically Cortana, by the way, just so you guys know, for the ship. She's Cortana.
Her name is Navi.
Yeah, her name is Navi.
Sorry.
Like Navigator.
All right.
Get it? So that's Shougeki Gouraigan. The other thing we're going to talk about today, which we are both much more invested in, is we're going to check in with Geats, because a lot of shit's been going down in Geats. So I did not watch 23, but I saw the two moments, the two big things. So
that's pretty much it.
Before we talk about that, I'm going to say more so than this, because this is obviously a lot newer and currently airing, including the episode that aired technically yesterday in our time. Is spoilers. So just so you guys are aware. We're going to talk about spoilers about the most recent episode and kind of leading up to that. I think the last time we checked it was like around 16 or so. It was right when the second just DGP ended. Glare had showed up and happened.
Yeah.
All that kind of thing. So yeah. So this tournament, let's just talk about this tournament as a whole in general, because I think that'll be a little easier to tackle it.
Okay.
So they kind of mix up the formula this time, now that we know that this is a rider show, essentially.
Reality show.
Yeah, it's literally a reality show. So they're like, hey, there's going to be a disaster, which is, if they make it to the end without being discovered, they're going to take the Desiety. What's that weird fucking word? Desiety, right?
Yeah. Had it pegged from the start. Had it pegged from the jump.
You did? Okay.
I did. I knew right away that it wasn't going to be any of the obvious ones, and the fact that Neon was so quiet these couple episodes was like, yeah.
I assumed it was going to be one of the 3 or 4 at that point, because just the nature of the show. I knew it was going to be Ace though, just because I don't think they would have done that unless they like framed him. You know what I mean?
So help me understand the disaster thing, because the way I get it is, it's like the Fox game where you're the werewolf game where you're supposed to pretend to be the normal person and make it to the end, and if you make it to the end, you automatically win. Right?
Depending. So the whole way that this game works, as opposed to the other ones where it was based on points, this time it's popularity. So you have an audience poll every game, and whoever has the lowest score is eliminated. And they also bring in 2 veteran players to keep it interesting, who apparently have played the game in the past. And Ace goes, "Oh, these 2, that's an interesting choice.
You guys, okay,
those are interesting choices." So if the disaster remains undetected by the final round, and even if they are not the one who wins the popularity contest, they would still win. So it's an interesting it's almost like Big Brother. If you guys ever watched that show, it's that kind of thing. Like, who's Big Brother?
Now, mind you, this is introduced by our new game master, who is the most wackadoo of like you take the goofiness that was Kuroto and you add a lot more Psycho.
Imagine if Tattle and Kuroto had like a weird amalgamation baby.
He's if Tattle did like 16 bumps and just went on set. You know what I mean? Like that energy is just insane. And yet, it's him. He's got this sinister vibe to him because it's like you could tell like he's fucking crazy, but he's like Kefka crazy.
Yeah, he's kind of like for the good of the show, for the good of the fucking show.
Yeah, like we're gonna do all kinds of fun stuff. Ready to have fun. Everybody's ready to have fun, right?
Yeah. Like, so that's kind of the vibe he gets. It's very playfully terrifying, and I think some of that is also just because you know what the game master is at this point. Like
now that the cards are out there.
Yeah, you've seen the power that this dude holds. So having another one, it's like, what is he fucking capable of? And that's kind of the ominous vibe out of this dude. And so like they go through the usual set of games. So the first one is they have to find the president of the school, and they have these like JoJo. I think we talked about it a little bit. It's these JoJo ass characters. The Jamatos look like JoJo Bonchos, and they gotta find the president and like just destroy the president basically. And you know we get a taste of the two new characters, Lopo and I forget Owl Boy's name. Daichi. Daichi. Sei and Daichi, I believe, are their names. Sei is Lopo, and I don't remember his rider form. Daichi's rider form. Spatchcock. Why not? Spatchcock. It's spatchcock. If you guys don't know what that is, that's when you take a chicken and like snap it in half. So it like lays flatter. That's a spatchcock. There you go.
That's it.
So you know we get introduced to that. Sei is an athlete. She runs really, really fast. Daichi is smart.
That's pretty much it.
That's it. He's like the smartest kid. They make it a point to say he's the smartest. He has the highest IQ of any entrant in the DGP ever.
Which helped him a lot. So that, you know, they immediately butt heads with the three. Ace continues to be Ace and just kind of like rules the game. And then Keiwa and Nago Neon kind of have their things with them, and they're introduced in the first fight. Neon gets trapped in the sand pit that Daichi sets up because he's using Monster. You know, he's got the big fist, which is an interesting little thing. And then Sei is using my zombie buckle. It's my zombie buckle now. I mean, it worked. It's because of how she fights. Like she's a rough and tumble fighter. So it's like I guess they wanted to continue having Buffa in the episode somehow. Yeah. And that was like the best that they could do.
Yeah. Because Buffa is outside the games in the Jamato Garden trying to learn what the hell's going on. So I'll come back to that. But essentially, Sei showcases her speed in a really cool sequence where she is sprinting through the fucking the school trying to find this president, and it's so cool. But eventually they find it, and Ace gets a new suit. It's the Gigant weapon, so they can introduce it for the movie. He gets the Gigant sword, hammer, and gun. And it's literally the Tokuger Megazord sword, but that's neither here nor there. And the Zect gun, but
that took us 5 minutes. We were like, that sword looks familiar.
Yeah, I was like, that looks familiar. Oh yeah, it's that fucking show. God, Tokuger. So yeah, the second game they play is basically like a basketball type thing.
It's a cool concept. It's a cool concept.
They're playing against Jamatos, and they have to score the most points. And at this point, we're learning that the Jamatos are created from the bodies of the people that are eliminated.
Yeah. They do this horrible implication on like during this episode that Keiwa is the disaster because he just happens to keep fucking things up for everybody.
Because he's trying to protect like an orphanage that he works at or something like that.
Right, and he also has this preoccupation with the Jamato because they're displaying these human-esque, words, and they're talking, and he's just confused. He's like, "Wait, they shouldn't be doing that. Why are they doing that?" And yet, when he sees, I think it's the same episode where he actually sees the faces of the.
He sees so one of the Jamatos turns into the panda that first rescued him at the beginning of the show, the firefighter, Kyoryu Blue. He turns into Kyoryu Blue. And, he goes, what the hell? That I can't do that. I can't fight these things. So how am I supposed to destroy these things? So he has an existential crisis. And that Sei in particular talks him up to becoming, Daichi talks him up into becoming the disaster. And that's when you go, oh, it's Daichi. Of course it is, because he's the smart one. Yada, yada, yada. And essentially, it's pretty cool. Yeah, the main Jamato of that one has like a cannon arm. It'll like load the ball into and like fire it from across the city. Yeah, it's cool. Sei gets ninja at one point and starts flipping around before she tosses it back to Keiwa, and he does his ninja thing. Every time Keiwa like pops off with ninja, it's hype as hell. I gotta say.
Doesn't Keiwa do a cracked helmet in one of these episodes?
Yes, he does. He does a cracked helmet. It's fucking great. Dope and shit. We also get the really cool first person shot where we see the inside of the helmet. I don't know if you remember that. You get the full heads up display of what they see. It has their life bar. It has their buckle information. It is so cool. I got to do something with it. I'm
stealing some of that. I'm sorry.
It was fucking.
Oh, we also get your boy. He gets one of these dope moments. I think it's 18 where he pummels a Yamato for his driver. He's like dying, and he realizes that he can't henshin because it's not working for him because he's technically dead. And yet this Yamato, who's like now the rider Yamato, is like, I'm just gonna finish off the job because obviously you're not supposed to be here.
Buffa wakes up and he's in the Yamato greenhouse. He finds his ID core in like the pile of fucking ID cores that are littered throughout the ground. He finds the Buffa. And then he like wanders outside, and that's when he runs into this Yamato rider.
There's so much of this, like, in the most recent episode that you haven't watched yet, they do address a very big thing, and it's big spoilers for you, brother.
That's fine.
All right, so
because I'm gonna watch it as soon as we're done here. So
you're gonna watch it. So anyway, so they come where Buffa is implies very heavily that there is a future or a potential future and a potential past that have already taken place.
Okay.
And that's where this is all happening. In this alter place that is a echo or a
pocket
remnant.
Reality of some kind.
Yeah, something like that. Because it's when you see them bring him back after he beats the shit out of this Yamato, takes his driver, becomes this dope ass Buffa zombie plant versus zombie hybrid. It's kind of cool for as kind of sketchy as you would think, but he's looking over this like overgrown ravine of like greenhouses and what looked like a city. So you're just like, wait, what the fuck is going on? What is happening?
It's very like Helheim when they learned about the Overlord's town and you see this fucking overgrown city kind of thing. It's very much that, like the Lost Society, and you're like, what the fuck? So, and on top of all that, while we're going through the DGP, we're meeting the sponsors, and we're learning that they're sponsors of this show. So each sponsor kind of takes an interest in each of our main three. We have Gene that kind of takes an interest in Ace, who apparently was in the O's show. He's in one of the episodes of O's. And apparently, he's some kid that was like, I want to be a Kamen Rider. Look at him now. He's a Kamen Rider. That's adorable. And then you have Nago's dad, who is a sponsor. That's where his plot device came in to get her back in the game. He is a sponsor, so obviously he's invested in her. And then we have Kererera, who is a frog statue, or someone speaking to a frog statue.
I don't understand that one at
Keiwa.
all. That's not okay. I don't get why they went that direction, because they're already implying that there's so many. I don't know what they're going with that. Like I'm hoping that there's a microphone in there, and that's pretty much it.
That's it. It's not. He's not the statue, I don't think, because I'm pretty sure in the preview we see his real form. So
okay, good.
Yeah. So they're kind of building this up, and then on top of that, we learn that there's someone that sponsors the Yamato. They want the Yamato to win, and that's our girl Beruba.
Let me tell you about Beruba. All right.
You have a crush on her? Yes, I know.
When I first saw Beruba, I'm like, okay, she kind of has this look to her that I kind of have a thing about. But
Lolita Goth Queen, got it.
Then she goes and she does stuff, and the stuff she does, I'm like, I am all on board.
Imagine if you guys are familiar with Juri from Street Fighter. She's basically Juri without kicking.
She's Juri without kicking. She's Juri with a gun.
With a gun and a mech.
So like, but basically, it's implied that there's so many like. There's subterfuge going on in between this game show that it takes the idea that this is still a show and like shits on it, because they're like, they have to play because they have to play. But they understand that this show isn't.
There's
what
more
it's supposed
to
be.
This show, and they're sprinkling that in a very very satisfying way, because we're still getting the tournament stuff, which again, I'm very biased towards tournament arcs, and this entire show has been a tournament arc, several tournament arcs. Yeah, I mean, but they're also sprinkling in this world building stuff, and it's like kind of soft world building, and then they're transitioning into hard world building, which is kind of cool. And yeah, so like Baruba's going around and she ends up supporting Buffa, and eventually they somehow bring Daichi back and he joins the bad guys.
Yeah, because Daichi gets voted out by being thought of as the disaster.
Yes, he wasn't. In the one where K was the ball game.
Right, so he does this weird implication where he's trying to convince everybody that KY is the disaster. They've changed their vote him out. He gets booted, but Beruba's like, mine. Like,
so she starts to build her anti-rider crew, which is kind of cool.
I don't know if it's in that episode that the newest one, but there's a line that implies that the game master knew about that.
Interesting. Maybe, I don't know, honestly.
There's a line that says he couldn't. Sumudi approaches him and says she couldn't have gotten that ID core without you knowing about it.
Interesting. Yeah.
And he says, I did what I had to do for the game. This fucking guy.
Yeah. Okay. He's like, I'm gonna make drama. I'm gonna make this show interesting for the viewers. That's essentially what his thing is, right? And Sumudi is the producer, if you guys didn't know. And so, speaking of which, the next game is essentially they have to find and disable bombs because their families get tied into this. Keiwa's sister gets tied into it. They have to basically cut the cord. It's fine what color cord, and to do so, they have to kill the Jamato that's carrying the particular fruit that is tied up. In the first round, this is a two-parter. The first one, Keiwa's sister is tied up, and he gets zombie. And fucking goes to town on this wall because the Jamato runs inside a fucking garage, and he steals the zombie buckle and carves his way in, and just more proof that the zombie buckle just makes everyone bigger and badder. He just pounds this Jamato into the dirt, and it is so cool.
It is good. It is really good.
Yeah.
But hold on, let me go back here. I lost you. There we go. But there was one element that we were forgetting there. They did Seisan, which is the
athlete girl. Yeah.
The athlete chick.
Lopo. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're implying that she's the disaster.
Yes, because the episode before that, or might have been even the end of this. No, it's the episode before. It like shows her looking at a disaster card, which is her mission for this round. And they're like, oh, it's Sei. And everyone's like, oh, it's Sei. And the card is to sabotage, and some Eagle Eye viewers even posted before the episode came out. They were like, it's weird that Neon kind of jumps out of nowhere after this random fruit got thrown at Ace and Keiwa, and because it kind of leads to the next round of this. Sei's family is tied up, and she has a really cool moment where she takes Boost, and this is where I think Boost is actually her like synced up buckle, which is interesting to think about. Because she just fucking goes off. She puts it on the lower half, and she does this crazy running stance, like she does the all four running stance, sprints, and just like double knees this Jamato rider right in the head. It is so cool.
So
oh my god, she just boom.
Now, while they're doing the games, Buffa and Daichi and Beruba are trying to do something. They're trying to get a hold of something, and you're just not sure what they're after.
They're basically doing like, or Buffa's like sighing heavily because he's just kind of like, she promised me more power to defeat riders. That's all I'm here for. And Daichi and Baruba are like,
and that's when we get what I think is now should be the constant color palette for this design.
Yes, because Buffa intervenes and Ace and Buffa fight again, and Buffa has a really cool moment where he like stomps on the ground. Eventually, he just walks over and steals the zombie buckle from Sei, I think.
He just takes it from him.
He just fucking takes it. She's like, that's mine. He's like, no, it's mine.
He beats her ass.
Yeah, so the producer says, I'm tired of this. I'll handle it.
Yeah, Nichiram is like this weird, I don't know how to... He's scary. He's scary in the sense where... I don't know, like he speaks in this very sinister way, but he's not being sinister. You know what I mean? He's just like...
I equated him from his look to like Doctor Who, but just imagine when Doctor Who's fucking angry. That's kind of what he's got going on. Because it's this very like assured, you will fucking die if I go off. And it's interesting because he's like... Well, okay, we're gonna handle the problem now.
And this quote, I'm gonna have to break you out of your fantasy with this reality. Yeah. And then, oh my god,
it's so cool. So he henshins with the glare belt and becomes Gazer, and it's white and gold, and it is beautiful. And oh man, this fight is so cool. He just pisses all over Buffa. Oh, he
doesn't even try. He doesn't even try.
He literally has his hands behind his back the whole time. He lets his bits do most of the work, and his finisher is he literally just casually floats up, and the bits fall on top of Buffa, and then he just kicks him. He just falls onto him foot first.
It goes delete. Boom. It's just the biggest. Like I got the speakers, so that bass shocked the shit out of me when he did that. Like, is that level of impact that they're implying?
And it's so intense. So we learned that Buffa only survived being deleted by this. If you guys remember, he was killed by the fortress monster that kind of Gazer beamed him. And the only reason we found out that he survived is overuse of the zombie buckle. So literally, as he's about to die, Gazer is coming down on him. He puts the zombie buckle on so he can survive.
Crazy. Awesome. So he basically has a cheat code. So he has the Kuroto cheat code for 99 lives. But it doesn't take away from the fact that this is scary implication of power that Nichiren has.
Cool.
And this driver, I like this driver, dude.
You like the glare driver?
I do. It's so simple. It's a card reader.
Yep.
And it's clean. I don't know. I don't need a whole lot, but I like it.
It's cool. I like it a lot. I honestly just like the Gazer suit. Honestly, that should be the default color, which is interesting because then the next game is they have to chase the game master because the Jamatos aren't being shipped to them. He literally calls the greenhouse Jamato dude and is like, yo, where's my shipment of Jamato? And he's like,
yo, what the hell's going on?
It'll be there eventually. And he's like, and he's like, well, the show must go on. So they basically do the fox hunt thing, but they have to go after the game master. And he henshins into Glare 2. And it's basically just the glare suit with some accents on it. There's this cool kind of like holographic effect on the eyes and like the little streaks that are all over his body.
The genius that was Gazer, then they went back to that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's fine, because not everyone can be that dope. I mean, he is this godlike figure, so it makes sense that he has the angel color, He's literally god of this world. He's the one who made it. So it's they spend the next 20 minutes doing the most hilarious fight I've ever seen in my life, and he's doing like the worm to dodge bullets and stuff.
Like Indiana Jones pranks where the boulder just drops out of nowhere and starts chasing them out of these alleyways.
He doesn't actually fight. Literally, he henshins, and you're like, oh, here we go. This is gonna be another great fight. Dude bolts the other direction.
Well, wait. So they corner him, right? And they finally get to like try to land a couple blows on him, and Keiwa is slashing at him with these blades, right? Did you catch this? Keiwa slashes at him a couple times, and he just like he bats his hands away very slappily, and then he slaps Keiwa. He goes, "That's dangerous." But stop it! I was laughing at that, and then I saw immediately, and I swear, check it out again. Geets tries to land this punch, right? And he does this dip.
Yep.
Where he just rolls
with it to make it look like he got it. Yeah.
Bro, he rolls with it and into Geets' chest.
Yeah.
And does like a tap. And I was like, where is more of that in these fight scenes? Holy shit.
It's so cool.
I was like blown away. I had to rewind it like 3 times, but I swear, I was like, give me more of that, please.
Yep.
That is the kind of slick shit that happens in these animes that we watch all the time. These battle animes. More of that, dude. Oh my god. I'm looking at it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was oh my god. It was such a fun fight. Like it was a refreshing fight, I should say, because we had this big grandiose like Gazer fight, and then we went back and did this like other thing. We had the Game Master fight before that, where we got the jet cannon dual mode and Nago jumping in there and being there. She did whatever. And then like we had these big crazy moments with Sei, and then you have this dude literally doing the worm to dodge shit and doing this kind of cool stuff where he's like clearly way better than all of them, but he's just like for the greater good of the show.
It's not often that we get those injections of that kind of levity in Kamen Rider. You know what I mean? Like a battle for the sake of entertainment.
Yeah, and like it's quite literally like we're gonna make a good show out of this, guys. We're gonna make a goddamn good show. at the same time, again, they're kind of dealing with, they're building the relationship with their sponsors. They each have their individual one. Geets and Gene kind of bond a little bit of just kind of being like people that are trying to better the world, essentially. And
Gene, what do you think of Gene? Do you think he's a good guy?
I think he is someone who is out for his own motives. That's what I think he is.
I think
so if they align, he's a good guy. If not, he's not going to be a good guy.
I really feel like he has this, like, what's that guy's name? Booster Gold?
Mm-hmm. Like a hero complex kind of thing?
Complex where he's vicariously being heroic through Ace. So it's like,
I think he's just channeling that inner kid where he's like, I am a writer, guys. I'm going to be the best writer.
I'm the bestest ever.
Yeah.
But
so,
meanwhile, he's...
Yeah. So you've learned to come at the end of this that Baraba and Buffa and Daichi are actually after the Glare driver. And so they corner the game master. And the three of them, are like, hey, we're gonna take that belt, and they beat the piss out of him pretty easily, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like all these guys are struggling to land a blow on him, but he can't get a leg up on Buffa and Daichi.
Because it's Buffa. Because it's fucking
fair.
Buffa. To be fair. Most people, when there's someone charging at them full force, they're going to be a little different than if they're like, ha, 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 yeah, counter. And if my ass is like,
but it's called. But all right, so yes, absolutely. You're booking and you're getting panic, boosted by the power of everything coming out of. Yeah.
You saw that stomp he did. I'd panic with that too.
Listen, you come at me with a Takumi run, and I'm still running. Okay?
That's the shit he fucking did. He did that, but every step was like the Jamato stomp. He was like,
he had the zombie feet, so he was like digging into the.
There's fucking gravestones and shit coming out while he's running at him. We honestly don't see the actual fight. We just see Game Master rolling across the ground and like de-henshin.
So that's what happened.
Yeah, so they take the Gazer belt because they're trying to get to the Desire Goddess, who I'm assuming is
the creation goddess.
Goddess, thank you. Who's just this statue that we've seen.
Yeah, which is kind of okay. So here's a rule that's kind of cool. So even though they beat the game master, they took his driver. She gets to do her thing in front of the goddess thing, but it doesn't work because she's not a game master. So even though you have the device, you don't have
the clearance to get to her. Right. Yeah.
So,
which is the whole point. They're saying this is the key to get to everything in the game, right?
Yeah. So she ganks the belt off of him, and
Gene shows up.
What do you
think of this fucking suit?
I hate it so much.
I love the colors. Hate the design.
Colors are nice, but this is where
honestly, it's the neck up. I fucking hate it. Everything else is fine.
Yeah, it's the helmet. The helmet is just like, why? It looked like something crashed into it.
That's literally what happens. So yeah, someone got their floppy disk stuck in this dude's helmet. That's.
Let me see if the clip loads up. There we go. So I got the henshin, and the one thing I'm gonna give, the second thing I'm gonna give it is that they give the implication of power pretty damn well.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen it? I like the way you put this earlier when we were talking about it. You to quote you, I've never seen someone disrespect someone and gravity at the same time like this.
It is so level of like, yeah, okay. Like, he's just like it's an impact.
So nonchalant about it.
It's such a, like, if you guys know us, we're pretty keen on nonchalant, disrespectful gunshots. Yeah. So like,
that's exactly what I thought of was fucking Hokkaido.
it's exactly that. It's just that on a different level sideways.
Yep. Literally a different level, a different gravity plane. So yeah.
So okay, I don't like the design, but I like the implication of power. Yeah. Not bad. Okay, let's see what else you can do, Gene.
Yep.
But yeah, other than that, you know what it reminds me of a lot? Remember when you first got Armored Core and you would paint your Armored Cores like this ridiculous vomit color?
I wouldn't, but yes.
I did, and I would throw like a splash of like white to offset.
I did. I will say it may not have been like vomit colored, but I would mess around with like the prints and the like digital detailing, and that's when it became vomit looking. Because like no matter what colors you pick, some of those like digital camos and stuff just look like trash.
it just didn't. Anyway, so that's what I get from this. It's like a bad AC design. So like, try again.
Yeah.
But nice gun.
And then the only other part of the episode, so if there's more to it, obviously she sees the desire goddess, whatever, right, is we get the henshin of Beruba, and that's kind of how the episode ends. It's good lord. So she henshins, and she's a fucking kaiju mecha. She is a
mecha. She transforms into a Zaku gun tank angry thing. It is amazing.
And then she fucking fires straight down while diving into the earth, and I can only assume ending the fucking game. So
yeah, well what I assume is that it's going to make a bad situation worse. So it's not. We'll see. But when we catch up again, we'll know for sure. Yeah. But holy fuck.
And that's just how the episode ends. Like I feel like, I don't know how it is, but I feel like that's just like a hard cut to black. Like all this thing wipes away, and then it's like DGP rule, whatever.
It's so bad because even Jin shits himself. He's like, oh no.
It's
like, oh boy, even he's having a problem with it.
Yeah. And then if you guys saw the toy scans, we do have a yellow and green card as well. And I think the green card is Kerara, who we have. I saw some stills from the preview. I didn't see the actual preview. So I think we're getting their henshin next week. And I think that's Kerara, the frog statue, which that frog statue dope as hell.
Okay, we'll take it. That's fine.
So I'm curious to see how ridiculous all of these belts, which are these like card packs that go into a gun, seem to be reserved for the sponsors. So I'm curious. I'm assuming yellow is Nago's dad.
Well, not her dad. The other guy. She got a dude too, so might be him.
Gotcha. So yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes at this point. I'm assuming this is kind of like the administration trying to fix it sort of situation.
No, it seems like Beruba threw a monkey in the wrench, bro. Like,
that's what I mean. And then like the administration has to step in to try and fucking fix it and get back on track.
I think they're cutting the cord the way it seems. Like they're just like, no, this is fucked. We just got to figure out how to abort. Yeah, like how to pull out with the least amount of collateral damage.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to watch the episode. It's not that I just was watching Shougeki and losing my mind. Yeah. So it's not that I didn't want to. Trust me, guys. But yeah, no. What do you think of Geats so far? Honestly, overall,
I can't not love this show, man. Like it won me over, and the layers that they keep pulling back reveal deeper layers, and it's not superficial shit. Like I'm on board with the characters. I care about Neon. Why? She started off as this nothing. Her trauma was like what won me, and ever since knowing who she is at her heart, I'm like, I care about these characters. Fuck. Like,
but you know what? There's something like, I will say she's approaching like Rin territory for me, because she's like egotistical to the point where like, I'm gonna find a goddamn lover if it's the last fucking thing I do, even if that means shitting on all of you.
I think that's why they gave this arc to her, because with this disaster thing, it changed her again. And that's why this new sponsor is like, hey, wake up. Yeah, you're not yourself. So that's why I think she's gonna come back. But we'll see. It has, the writing hasn't let me down. They're going in such a good direction. Things are so good. The only thing is this design team needs to correct what they did with Shin and not repeat this with whoever else is coming up. Yeah. Because if it just looks like they're taking more spaceships and crashing them into different components of the face, like...
Which the Beruba one, even though it was all CG, it does look better in my opinion.
But because it's huge... and more mecha, it works.
Yeah,
it's not like.
Which also, did you notice that? I don't think Jean is very fox-like, but Beruba is more bull-like, and she sponsors Buffa. Did you notice that?
I did not.
It has like bull horns on it.
I'm gonna look at that again.
Yeah, if you look up the Beruba mecha thing, it has like bull horns on it, which is interesting because she sponsors Buffa. I don't think, like I said, don't think Jean is very fox-like, but it has a similar look to the Geats one. So I'm curious if.
Is it Beruba or Beruva?
Beroba.
Okay, Beruba.
So I'm curious if that has something to do with the form or not, or like why they're partial to that particular ID core person, that kind of thing. Yeah.
She looks
pretty bull-like, doesn't she?
I see it.
That's some bull horns.
Yeah.
That's some bull horns for you. So I'm curious if it's because of that, or if that's why, or if that has some kind of tie to it, whether it's maybe each of the ID cores is like one of these reality timelines you're talking about, that kind of thing, whatever it might be.
I think so.
Baribo might have been from like whatever Buffa timeline is going on.
I think that they're from. So okay. So the thing that's the big reveal for the episode you haven't seen is that they come clean. Mm-hmm. They tell them straight up, we're from a far future, and we come back here to look at this place like you guys look at ancient Greece.
Interesting. Okay.
But this multi-dimensional thing is the one thing that they're still not revealing. They're not like revealing the reason for the game, why they do it, what it's for.
Like
they're
what the
just
purpose
saying,
of this contest is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're saying everything without saying it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Wow.
They're giving you answers that they're giving you answers that lead to more questions.
Right.
Because there's obviously more to this iceberg that we're going to get into.
But
that's how you fucking change the like status quo of a tournament arc. That's for sure.
That's a monkey for the wrench, bro.
Yeah, that's a monkey for the goddamn wrench. Let me tell you. So I'm here for it.
So other than that, until you watch the new one, I'll get your headcanon then. But I still see Buffa doing the Baron Overlord turn, and then becoming the final big bad. Okay. I still see that somehow.
Just because every time I've thought that it doesn't pan out, I'm going to say that's not going to happen. I think he's going to fix his ID core and kind of come back to the contest, back to the good guys, because he's clearly not really for whatever Bariba's doing. He's just, again, out for his own power. You know what I mean? Like, he's just trying to beat riders. So I think it's going to lead him to resurrecting, fixing the core, whatever, getting a new core, whatever this fixes it. Because I just don't see him using the Jamato buckle forever. And we did get a tease for Boost Mark II in some Telebi scans. There's a Boost Mark II apparently. And I think whenever Buffa gets his ID core fixed, he's going to get some kind of like jet cannon type upgrade, like full buckle kind of thing going on.
A jet cannon upgrade is just a mini Gundam. So I'm like,
it's either that or like he becomes a sponsor or something, but I don't see him taking a passive role like that unless he just like takes Bariba's fucking gun or some shit.
Neon will become a sponsor.
I think so. I think she's going to take more of that administrative role to it. So yeah, I think Ace's mom is the god of creation, and I think Ace is some anomaly in the system, honestly. I think it's
some
like
kind of messiah character.
Yeah, I think he was like created for the game, like an AI that just kind of developed sentience kind of thing, like something like that. I think he's not like really of the timeline. He's a manifestation of this DGP thing. That's why he's so good at it and why he's, this kind of thing. I think he's essentially the god of creation 2.0.
Makes sense.
Playing in the game. So yeah. I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm always down for more fucking Buffa. So as long as he's around, I'm invested. And just bring back the Mary helmet. I don't care if you bring back Mary, because Mary's helmet's fucking radical. I love that goddamn dumb purple sheep or pink sheep. It's so cool.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. If you guys didn't see on my Twitter, which by the way, you can follow me at Kaiju Carl. I had our boy, a nerd named Mark, take his Shoto figures and make zombie ninja Mary. And it was beautiful, and I loved every second of it.
It's so cool. I was like,
it was so cool.
Look at that.
Yeah, I was like, hell yeah. Because honestly, if I'm not getting Buffa, Mary is a very close number 2 helmet. I'm down for it. I'd rock that. I bought the ID core set just so I could get Mary.
Of course you did.
Yeah, of course you did. I mean, cracked Buffa is a fun take too, but I didn't get the Jamato buckle yet.
I'm not sold on that one yet.
I'm not either. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of it because like, at this point, he's wearing zombie up top and then the Jamato one on the bottom, and I'm kind of indifferent. So it's just kind of like a new tassel thing that he has.
I mean, yeah, Geeks too. I mean, the boost Magnum is That's it for me.
That's kind of the thing, right? Like the Fever ones are fantastic, like doubling up, and then like the mixed ones are great. So like Jet Cannon's cool. Don't get me wrong. And so until Buffa gets Jet Cannon, I'm fine.
Jesus Christ, Jet Cannon.
So I think he's gonna get folded back into the mix with like Boost Mark 2. So I think
if he becomes purified,
yeah, they're gonna fix it. I think they are. He may still be like some kind of bad guy, but he's going to fix his ID course.
That's what I feel like. Anyway, we'll see. Everything,
I'm down.
No matter what we're thinking, we're wrong, and it's better. So sure.
So that's the move. But yeah, I'm always down for more Buffa because fuck yeah, let's go.
So, all right. Before we get out of here, I want to shout out a profile on Instagram. It's a clothing brand called Henshin's.
Okay.
Or Henshin, excuse me. Let me drop it here in the Discord, and then you can share it there. I'm starting to lose my voice. Sorry, guys. But I like clothes, and I like clothes that fit. So I was looking at some of this stuff. Oh, one of my life struggles is my shit doesn't fit.
Yeah.
It never fits. So this stuff looks like stuff that I want to wear, the classy stuff, button down. They have jeans, they have collars, they have socks, dudes. Like, I mean, all this kind of stuff, and it's all Henshin wear. So,
I like these like Ranger shoes they got going on with these buckles on them. It's kind of
this kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that I was looking at to spruce up my attire.
Yeah. I like this. This is a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, check these guys out.
I like these sneakers a lot. Oh shit.
The black ones.
Just all of them in general.
Yeah.
But yes, the Kingstone fucking like fancy shoes are kind of cool too.
They have book bags and stuff like it's all kinds of stuff that we could be wearing. We could be checking out.
Could be wearing. We'll see. So there's very Kamen Rider protagonist things going on with all these layers of flannel and things. So
buy a couple things, throw some of K20's patches on that. You know what I mean?
There you go.
All together.
That's what it is.
Let's get out of here.
There's a double belt, just so you know.
Oh man, no, I saw that one. And then the shoes. Go to O's shoes. They're down there.
Yeah, these shoes all look great. The Deno slips. Oh my god, the Deno slips. I love it. Yo, that's what's up. The O shoes are nice, actually.
Yeah, check these.
Ooh, the X8 shoes. Ooh. Okay. I see you. What are these ones?
I think these are the
Gaim shoes.
Drive.
There's Gaim shoes.
Oh, the Yuki. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we do have Ryuki's. Oh, I've seen these on Tokollectibles, I think. There's 5 shoes that have the symbols on the bottom. Yeah, they sell them on Tokollectibles.
Oh, I dig this.
Yeah.
Oh, they have the pants. They have those pants.
They have a Genem fucking shoes. So, all right. Good shit. I'm sure they are a pretty penny, but it's pretty dope. So, hell
Looks like it.
All right, show your shit. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out. Yeah, check my YouTube channel out, 6 Echoes on YouTube. I do a bunch of creepypastas there. Check out the TikTok. It's blowing up pretty good. We got a bunch of Toku minutes, 2 new ones working on right now. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, catch me here on Sundays with this psychopath.
Yeah. I am Kaiju Carl. You guys can see me. I was just on Henshin and Homies yesterday. That is up on their YouTube channel. You guys can go check that out. Zach and Brick, they are cool dudes to hang with, and it was fun to hang out with them. So you guys go check that out. Otherwise, I am usually here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, streaming some games, talking some Toku. We usually do a little bit of both at the same time. I don't know what I'm really playing this week, so just follow me on Twitter, Twitch at Kaiju Carl on Twitter. I'll post up the schedule whenever I figure it out on there. So
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Later, yo.